Good morning, everybody. Jason Sarney here with PhinManiacs Live, and I'm with my buddy Matthew Morin on this lovely Sunday morning for a London edition of Miami Dolphin football. How are you, Matthew?
Doing well, doing well. Just getting ready for the game. Just new injuries came out, so we're excited about that. So yeah,
Excited? I don't know if that's the best word, my friend, but we have two cornerbacks out officially in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Preston Williams is inactive. Hunter Long is inactive. Greg Little inactive. So really, it's kind of par for the course in terms of Devontae Parker being inactive again. This is not a good situation in terms of the depth of the Miami Dolphins. And as I say that, we have depth because we have Chip Turner now in here enjoying some coffee, as I am about to, with
Good
my
morning, gentlemen.
PhinManiacs coffee mug. So while I take a sip, Chip,
morning.
introduce yourself and say hello.
Hello, gentlemen, and hello, everybody. I'm Chip Turner, PhinManiacs writer, editor, all around, generally good person, I like to think, anyway. Looking forward to a wonderful London game. Hopefully, it'll lift our spirits. It'll change the direction of the fan base as far as keeping us from, the doldrums that have been wreaking this fan base for about a month now.
The doldrums we are in right now at
Yeah.
1-4. Usually, you look at an 0-5 team is really any team in the NFL can just kind of say this is the game that we get right. But my problem and the unfortunate kind of mindset is I think that's what the Jaguars are doing in their locker room, looking at the Dolphins as a 1-4 team. So it's does the Jaguars do they step up for Urban Meyer, a rookie NFL head coach, or do the Dolphins step up for their third-year coach? That, despite rumors around social media and everything, I do think that this is his team. He is in control. He has, a locker room that is supportive of him, and I just think they need to find the right coordination with their offensive and defensive assistant coaches to get this going. So I'll start with you, Matt. What do the Dolphins need to do for Brian Flores to get them his win right now and to get this team win to 2-4?
Well, to kind of break that streak, I think for sure they got to start fast. There's really no choice there. Um, Jacksonville's a team that they haven't really shown that they can come back from a deficit. We haven't either. So that's why I mentioned it with Brandon on our show. Whoever starts fast is probably going to win the game because neither team has shown that they can come back. So yeah, I mean they got to come out and play for him. It's as simple as that. And you can't lay down if adversity strikes. And there's a lot of things that go into that offensively and defensively. But Miami just has to wake up. Really, that's what I think.
Chip, that's a good way of putting it, Matthew. Wake up. It's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time situation for us watching, even earlier for those West Coast folks. But Chip, is there any ill effects of, the Dolphins flew out a couple days ago, 6 o'clock their local time. So really they didn't have a ton of time to prepare. What are your thoughts on this whole traveling out there, and what do they need to do?
Yeah, I don't think the traveling really is going to be advantageous for either team. Both of these teams have had enough weeks to know what they're doing going into week 6. They both have to have their game plan set by now. And I don't think, if any, for those of who have traveled over to Europe, not that I'm an internationally known globetrotter or anything, but for those who have traveled multiple time zones, either direction, the trip east is always the easier trip than the trip back home. That's the one that kills you. So I don't think that it's really advantageous to either of them. I think it's an even playing field. Just like was previously said, it's going to be which of these teams shows up, executes their game plan for their coach, and comes out on top. Unfortunately, I think this week it's kind of like, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of like, which car is going to win a race of, a 1982 Chevy Chevette that isn't quite running right, or a 1979 Ford Pinto that isn't quite running right. In whichever one fires the best. Hey, maybe one of them runs like a Ferrari. We never know, but I'm not anticipating that this week. Not yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at the inactives. The Jaguars actually have, and this might not be a big deal, but their kicker, Josh Lambo, is inactive. So that could provide a little bit of a strategic. And look, Urban Meyer comes from college, very used to 2-point conversions and whatnot. So the math of, if the Dolphins are up by 6 or down by 3 or what have you, you know what I'm trying to say. The kicking game could become a factor, even if it's 4th and 3 at, the 27. Urban Meyer's going to probably go for it if they don't have a guy who could put together a 40-yard or 45-yard field goal. So the intangibles for both teams are really setting up that they should take advantage of what is missing from the other. But believe it or not, and I feel the Dolphins have a lot more talent than the Jaguars. So I think, regardless of the injuries, you see in the back there, Nick Needham is hanging, my number 40 jersey. He is CB1 today. That might scare some laymen and some people who might not know his background, but he is a natural cornerback on the outside. I believe this is the game he's probably been dreaming of and waiting for his entire life. Matt, what are your thoughts of Needham going on the outside, his natural spot? Does he do well today?
Yeah, like you said, like that might scare some fans for sure. Not even Dolphins fans, just people looking at the Dolphins from an outside perspective. That might be like, well, who's Nick Needham? I don't even know who that guy is. But we know that he's got some real ability on the outside and in the slot. So I feel like he can have a good game. I feel like he can. This is, like you said, this is something he's probably been looking forward to. And this is something, you don't want to see your teammates go down. But, hey, man, next man up. And this is an opportunity for sure. And then Igmanogany, him too. He's a first-round pick, and he's been put into a situation where he's not playing really much at all, not even on special teams. And so this is your day too, Noah. Like, make a play, change the coaching staff's mind. You make a play today, or you make a couple plays today, it might set you up for later on. So there's a lot to play for today for everybody on this team, but for sure the secondary without the two top guys.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, Matt. A lot to play for because, I was looking at the structure of this team going forward after next year. There's not a lot of players signed beyond 2022. So, guys who are in their contract years now, maybe those next man up guys who have that free agency approaching in a couple of years, this is their time to really see for the Dolphins organization if they want to keep those players around. And, of course, the players have their decision-making abilities as well. So, for example, Mike Gesicki, he should be the focal point of the offense today. He should be targeted. I don't care. He should be targeted 15 to 20 times. That literally is what should happen unless they are up by enough points where they really don't have to throw. But if it's kind of that close game, he has to be the focal point of the offense because if he's not, how do you know he might want to sign with Miami in the offseason, especially if there's all this disarray? On the defensive side of the ball, you guys, Andrew Van Ginkel needs to step up. Rookies, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, these guys need to step up. How do you like these players, most, prevalently the rookies? Let's start with Phillips, Chip. How do you think this on the national stage could help his ascension and development as a rookie?
Well, he's been playing more and more every week. His workload has increased, and he is starting to produce to the point where you can talk all you want about quarterbacks' learning curve. There's something to be said for a defensive end's learning curve. And you see the highest end defensive ends start learning quickly, even in their rookie season, which is what it looks like Jalen Phillips is doing. I think that by they, I mean the ends of Agba and Jalen Phillips, could have a major impact on this game. Because the Dolphins do have a higher talent level than the Jaguars do. I don't think that's even a question. Does that mean they're going to win the game? Not with the way they've been executing recently. But I think those two players, specifically Jalen Phillips, and like you said, his ascension this year has been remarkable. He's learned, and you can see him picking up things. You can see him, his progression from week 1 to last week, where he was able to exert a lot more pressure on the quarterback. His technique is improving. His ability to recognize how to set up offensive linemen is improving. I think both he and Agba could very easily have a major impact on the outcome of today's game.
Matt, your thoughts on, we had a great description from Chip on Jalen. Talk to me about the other rookie, who's really not the other rookie, he might be almost the lead rookie right now for the Dolphins, is defensive back Javon Holland, who we may see a lot in the slot today.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for a coming out party for him as well. Trevor's looking like, he's making some early mistakes as a rookie, which is expected, even though, he was, donned as the greatest, quarterback prospect in recent memory, right? He's made some mistakes, and I think Javon can read his eyes a little bit and make a play. Javon Holland, we saw the film on him at Oregon. We knew what we were getting when we drafted him. He's a very, very versatile guy, someone that can cover in space and can, play in the run game and really make an impact. So I'm looking forward to Javon's game. I'm looking forward to Jalen's game. Like Chip said, Jalen's learning at a very fast rate. You could see it on the All-22. You could see it when you're watching live. He's learning how to effectively pass rush in the NFL. It's different from college. He had that big breakout year at Miami, and this is a different ball game. So he's going up against left tackles in the NFL that are way stronger, way bigger, and just better. But I think he's learning. I think he's poised to really make an impact today with Ogba, and I hope so, because if we're gonna get Lawrence rattled, I think it starts with those two for sure.
I would agree there, and their ability to rush the passer opens up everything for the rest of the defense to wreak havoc. Linebackers Jerome Baker, Andrew Van Ginkel to hopefully get to the quarterback, and of course, when you have your depth charted cornerbacks 3 and 4 being now your 1 and your 2, the pass rush can only help them in pass coverage. So, sticking with the defense for another couple of minutes here, do you think that I think that there has to be some sort of fire in the locker room right now, some sort of, Gerald Alexander, defensive backs coach, with Josh Boyer, the coordinator overall. They have to make Lawrence turn the ball over multiple times. He has to be on his back multiple times, because this has to be a game where a rookie quarterback for an 0-5 team plays like a rookie quarterback for an 0-5 team. If he plays like Trevor Lawrence, national championship guy from Clemson against the Dolphins, I wouldn't want to be on that flight home. So I think there's got to be some sort of competition, whether it's, not competition, you know what I mean? There has to be probably an epic locker room rant right now. I don't know if our show is on in the locker room at Hotspur Stadium right now. Probably not. But coaches, fire up these young players, these next man up guys, because they need multiple sacks, multiple turnovers. And honestly, if the defense is going to get them out of a game, this might be the one where the D might have to score, 2 times. And if the Jaguars only score once, they win the game regardless. That's just my thought. The defense really needs to have their banner game. What do you think about that overall, Chip, and then we'll move to offense?
The defense has to. And there's one important part you didn't touch on that I think is absolutely essential, is they have to stop the running game. They cannot keep getting gashed like they've been getting gashed. Flores set up this defense specifically to be able to stop the run. And I believe getting Raekwon Davis back they got him back last week, but I think an additional week under his belt of being back will help tremendously with that, because I think the entire run defense keys off of Davis. But yeah, they have to be aggressive. They have to control the line of scrimmage, and they have to pressure Trevor Lawrence into being that 0-5 rookie quarterback. They have to. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They can't just let the Jaguars out execute them because they don't have as much talent. I'll keep going back to this. There is no reason that Miami should not control both sides of this ball today, of this game today, because they are simply on paper a better team with a more experienced professional head coach who should be out executing the other team. So Miami, to your point, has to force the issue. They have to force Jacksonville into bad plays through pressure, through disguising coverages, through being more aggressive at the line of scrimmage. And the defense should be the defense should be the better unit to take advantage of this. Offense hasn't been firing right all season. The defense has at least shown flashes of being able to take over a game. So I think that's the key is defense has to be more aggressive and make Jacksonville make mistakes.
100% on that. And Matt, we're going to move on to offense. Let's talk Tua. He's back. Hopefully he's going to be, protected, wearing some sort of a sleeve, a hip jacket, a rib jacket and whatnot. But offensive play calling has to put him in position to succeed. How do you see this game? He's back. He's missing some pieces, missing Devontae. But
Right.
what do we need to do? What does Tua need to do to win this game against the Jaguars defense?
Yeah, like you said, the play calling has to be, in favor of him, right? And it feels like we're asking for a ton. I feel like a kid on Christmas, like I want the big gift. And that shouldn't be like that, but I guess it is for some reason. Obviously the issues with the offensive line hold you back, but I think Tua needs to take what the defense gives him and then later on push the ball downfield. There's opportunities with, Gesicki running across the middle. And hopefully Waddle gets involved. But, I think Tua needs to just focus on not worrying about the ribs. I know that's easy to say. He took a massive shot from Epinesa, and I'm sure when he does his drop back, he's going to be thinking a little bit. But he's got to just try to be himself. That's what we drafted him for. Be the quarterback that we selected you to be, and just, let the rest take care of itself. Take what the defense gives you. Just keep moving the ball. That's all he can really worry about.
You mentioned Gesicki, you mentioned Waddle. It is 16 minutes and 30 seconds into the show. We can officially start talking about Kirk Merritt. I've held out that long. Listen, a lot of guys, a lot of girls love Kirk Merritt. A lot of Dolphin fans are very excited that he's elevated to the roster. There's two guys that I need everyone to kind of think of that might get a little bit more burn than him initially, and that's Matt Collins, Isaiah Ford. That's just the way the cookie is going to crumble, I think. I will be pleasantly surprised if he gets over 3 targets. I will be probably a little bit pleasantly surprised if he's on many offensive series. He's going to be on special teams probably more often than offense, at least to start. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but Isaiah Ford, he's back. He's a guy who had a couple of catches against Jacksonville last year, and he is a Jacksonville native. So I know that doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but with his little bit more familiarity, he is a guy who I would expect on the field a little bit before Merritt. And then, of course, you have Matt Collins on the outside probably taking reps that Devontae Parker and or Preston Williams could have had. So really, this is going to be a very, very difficult personnel game for the Dolphins offense, Chip.
Yeah, there is. It's going to be unusual, and it's not. If you're going to do it this week. I should rephrase it. If it's going to happen, this is a week for it to happen because you've got Tua coming back. The whole offense is going to be shaken up anyway. So not having Devontae Parker is going to hurt because they had Tua and Parker were starting to develop a more of a rapport last year, in my opinion. Gesicki I think Gesicki and Parker are the two receivers that he had a very good rapport with. Interestingly, I think that this will be the first game that you have a tremendous amount of speed that's not hindered by injury on the outside in Kirk Merritt. And I think you could write about Isaiah Ford. Isaiah Ford he's been on this team and cut at least 275 times, if memory serves. But he's
the player version of Billy Martin from the Yankees in the 80s.
He is. He keeps coming back. You can't hold. And I love Isaiah Ford. This is not a knock on Isaiah Ford. Isaiah Ford is a reliable possession receiver most of the time. He's going to eat. He's going to get some receptions across the middle of the field. He's going to get your 7-yard comeback routes. He's going to be used, hopefully, across the middle of the field to get your short yardage plays. I think your chunk plays, I think you better see a couple of deep shots downfield for Kirk Merritt. Hopefully it's early rather than late in the fourth quarter, because if it's late in the fourth quarter, that means they're probably trailing. But I think the most wonderful adage that we've had so far is the Christmas morning adage that was just brought up. We've all been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for Miami to go downfield. We've all heard, well, we're taking what they're giving us. That's playing into the hands of the defense. They can't keep doing this. They have to take a shot or two downfield to Kirk Merritt, because you know what Kirk Merritt is? Kirk Merritt is a young kid who's hungry and doesn't have a big contract, and he's coming in, he's getting his shot. They better take a shot or two downfield to Kirk Merritt, and you watch. I'm predicting, I don't make predictions very often. I'm predicting a big reception or two for Kirk Merritt that you're going to see on highlight reels later today.
Oh, I love that. You are very seldom at the actual laying out the prognostication. Yeah. So I can't wait to over 20 yards or over 25. What's your definition? Big play.
Over 40 yards.
Whoa, that is.
We haven't done it this year yet. They have to.
You're right.
Somebody in that locker room has to say, "Hey, you know what we haven't done? We haven't really, uncorked a long pass this year. Let's try it once or twice." I'm not trying to be facetious, but it's frustrating as a fan to sit here and say, why don't they just let it fly once or twice and see what happens? It can't be a whole lot worse than what they've generated so far on offense. So that's just me talking without.
You know what? Funny little thing, guys. You mentioned big plays, and Matt, I think you were the one who initially referenced the Christmas morning. So what was yesterday then? It was Christmas Eve. So do you know what I did in my house last night? I went to YouTube. I watched Dan Marino's top 50 plays.
No, man.
Dan Marino's never walking through the door.
No, he's not.
I get that. But a couple of plays, there were 3 plays in the top 50 that all had the same 2 words attached to it. Flea flicker. And Chip, Matt, I know you weren't around watching the games live for this, but there were a couple of times that the Dolphins, had like a long extended handoff, and then all of a sudden the running back turned. Jim Jensen crash set one back, and there was a flea flicker. And each time the defense was, here's my favorite word, flabbergasted. It doesn't necessarily need to be a flea flicker. Flabbergast Urban Meyer, because half of his mind is still thinking about that girl from the bar. He is very, very out of his depth right now. So I think you have to really pummel Urban Meyer and the coaching staff into creativity, things that they have not seen on film yet. Go deep into that playbook. Godsey, Fry, Studesville, flea flicker, jet sweep, reverse. Anything I'm missing here, Matt? Something.
No, I mean, they're becoming very predictable. So yes, I would say take the route of being different as opposed to what you've shown the first 5 weeks of the season. You don't have anything to lose, and like Chip said earlier, if you're going to do something this week, you're going to try something. If something's going to happen, it's got to be this week against Jacksonville. Try some new things this week. If you've been working on it in practice and it flows well and you think it could work in a game, this is the game to try it. I don't want to try it against Buffalo or any of these teams that if it doesn't work, it's going to hurt a lot. But if you try it against Jacksonville and it works, great. If it doesn't, I don't think the price is going to be too hefty. So I would definitely agree with you there. Get creative. The approach that we're taking now, I know it's been different because we don't have Tua and the offense is kind of tailored to him. And when you throw Brissett in there, it kind of makes things way different. So now that you have him back, granted, he's not going to be, himself for the most part. I think the first series he's going to have to kind of work out the kinks a little bit. But as the game wears on, make this work. Push the ball downfield, get creative. I think Miami needs to do that in order to take control of this game and not make it so, not make it a heart attack for the fans. It shouldn't be, but I have a feeling that it's going to be.
I do have a feeling it's going to be. Look, the Dolphins rarely get out to like a 24-3 lead. Last year, there were a couple of games, the Niners game, the Rams game. They have the ability to do that, especially, believe it or not, the Dolphins are a top 4 team in first quarter scoring. They actually do quite well winning the first quarter basically like 6-3. Like that's what they do. In the second quarter, they only have 3 points this season, which is, I can't even wrap my head around that. They go into the locker room and they come out of the locker room flat. So that's got to change. And creativity. I really, truly hope that they beat the Jaguars with fun plays. Where are these creativities? Back a couple of years ago in 2019 against the Eagles, that mountaineer shot play, fourth and short, creative play calls that actually work. Sometimes a couple of games ago, that handoff to Gesicki, not the right play call. I like the fact that they wanted to go for it, but they need to utilize their play calling and personnel better. On the bottom of the screen, we see Savak Melton commenting. I'm hoping that Savak jumps on in here before we get ready for kickoff. About half hour, about 35 minutes away. But Savak is one of our favorite people out there, so hopefully he has the link and is ready to jump on in. No pressure, Savak, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So, Matt, other things that we need to watch this game that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, we did touch on Raekwon a little bit. Raekwon coming back. I think, we've been getting gashed a lot. I honestly thought he was done for the year when I first saw the injury against New England. That knee turned. It did not look pretty. So I'm happy that he's back. Hopefully he gets worked in. I think you're going to see a big difference in the run defense. There's been like that anchor missing. It's like that first wave that you get past as a running back, it's just been non-existent. And I think that has a lot to do with him being gone. Something that we haven't touched on yet, I definitely say, is what about Waddle downfield? I need to see that. I mean,
you mean have him go on a route more than 5 yards?
Yeah, use him. Make him look like what he looked like at Alabama. I don't know. It's just a thought. What did we draft him for? I didn't draft him to throw screens to him. I could tell you that. We'll see. I think that guy is unguardable on a double move. So put him against the worst corner and just have him run. I don't think he could stay with him, whoever it is. So use him. I don't know why we wouldn't. But then again, I'm not the play caller.
Overall pick. Might as well make sense. And I'm going to bring in a number 1 overall pick, the hair extraordinaire, Savak Melton. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I am a little tired and groggy, but I'm awake.
Savak usually wakes up at around high noon on Sunday, so we really appreciate him joining us early for the game. A Jacksonville man on a day that we're playing Jacksonville in London.
Yeah.
And here I am in Philadelphia, Chip's in Pennsylvania, and Matt's in Miami. So we're all over the place. What do the Dolphins need to do to win?
Man, what is going on here? Craziness. Well, first of all, I appreciate y'all having me on. It's awesome to be here with you guys.
Take that coffee sip, buddy.
I am. See, got to get right. Just like our team here. This is what I was saying on the lunch bunch on Friday. This is the get right game. This is the one. If we can't beat this dilapidated Jaguars team, looking at the schedule, fellas, aside from the Jets, who can we definitively say that, yeah, we can go in there and wipe the floor with them? I don't know which team it would be if we can't beat these guys. And so I did actually, I've been on for a little bit now. I was listening to you guys, and it's funny because you guys are saying a lot of the same stuff that they were saying on the lunch bunch too, is, everyone wants to see this defense get back on track, but doesn't matter how great this defense is. If we can't keep our offense on the field, it's not going to matter. They're going to end up gassed, and we're going to end up with points getting scored against us. We're going to end up making Trevor Lawrence look like number 1 overall pick. So this offense needs to get on track. We need to get down there. I think if we can put up 21 points, 3 touchdowns, I think this defense can hold. I think we'll be in good shape. But it is going to start there.
3 touchdowns. I don't think that's a lot to ask for. I really, truly don't, Savak. The Lunch Bunch was a great show. You had a terrific appearance on it. And for those who don't know, the Lunch Bunch being the Fish Tank Crew, Travis, DJ Preach, they were scattered this show. Usually they're over at Bo Campers. But, this is the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
This show. If that was the Lunch Bunch, this is the Breakfast Club. But check out the guys after on the 5th quarter. They're fantastic. Hopefully they'll be talking about a W. Mm-hmm. Where are those 3 touchdowns going, Savak? If you had to pick the guys who you're looking to get into the end zone, who do you think?
Well, seeing as how we are down DVP, which I mean, let's be fair now, he hasn't been super crucial this year. Not the same way we were expecting, but so I'm expecting at the very least one, if not two, of those scores. It's going to be at the hands of Myles Gaskin. Last week they finally remembered, oh my God, that's right, we have this guy here, and they put him to work. And we didn't get the win, but whew, damn, did he prove that he can still do it. So I know they got to get him going because it is going to run through him. They need to protect Tua. My goodness. It was rough. As much as people have been complaining about what the offenses looked like with Tua in there, him in any capacity is going to be better than the offense was without him. So they got to keep him upright. I mean, if they manage to him sneak one in, I'll take that too. Just for goodness sake, Tua, protect yourself. But yeah, and then of course we'd love to see Jalen Waddle get into the action. He's operating as the de facto number one wide receiver today. It's kind of expected that he'll find the end zone. The only other time that he's found the end zone so far this year was when Tua was playing. So, he may just end up sneaking in and, maybe, I know 21's not a lot to ask for, 3 touchdowns. Maybe they will blow that out of the water. I would love to see that. Love to see the offense really get on track, and just find their groove, which has been hard to find because consistency has been hard to come by for this group because they've never had a level of consistency throughout the coaching staff. That's what I was thinking about yesterday. Every single year of Brian Flores' tenure so far, we've had a new offensive coordinator, new offense getting installed. They have not had consistency. So hopefully they can find that this week. Or else, like I said on the lunch bunch, somebody might be finding their own way home.
I agree because well said, Savak, and you bring me to a point because you always bring fun to wherever you do, and that's what I think the Dolphins need to do today is have fun.
Yep.
Because winning cures all, but you know what cures really all? Fun winning. People on the sidelines yucking it up and joking, looking at the scoreboard, 35-3 in the third quarter. That's fun. As Dolphin fans, we have not had fun.
That's right.
In a long time. So I would like everyone's seen Remember the Titans, right? I would like a Brian Flores moment to go over to his 3, 4, 7, 12 offensive coordinator and say, run it up, leave no doubt, have a blast. And tell you the truth,
cut them loose.
Try to literally stick your cleats on the neck of an opponent. If they don't do that, you're right. I think that they should all just chip in and get a flat somewhere in England and just stay there. So score predictions, everybody. Matt, we'll start with you and we'll go around the clock.
Oh man, put me on the spot here. I'm gonna go Miami. I'm gonna go 24-13. I think we pull away at the beginning of the fourth quarter and we kind of just hold them down. That's where I'm going.
Chip?
I'm going to go 20-17 Miami. And what I would like to see, and I don't think I'm going to see it. I've almost lost hope. The one thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see a boring game. No matter what. Not only has Miami been bad, like you said, they haven't been fun. It's not fun watching the games now. And just uncork a few. Come on, prove me wrong. Put 35 up and make me look like an idiot. I would love to see that.
Likewise, right here.
So, you initially said you wanted to see 3 scores. Build on that prediction, sir.
So I guess I kind of like. I don't want to say it might be a close one. Let's call it 24-21 Miami's way. I think they'll give us some heart palpitations a couple times.
Maybe, like always.
Maybe keep us on the edge of our seat. But I'd like to see us come out of this with the win.
I'm not going to differentiate. I'm also going to pick the Miami Dolphins win because it's a necessity. So I like the 3 touchdowns. I'm going to put 3 touchdowns and 3 Jason Sanders field goals up there as well to get to a nice round 30 to 15. The reason why I say 15 is because I mentioned earlier the lack of the kicking game. There's going to be a weird score with a 2-point conversion and missed extra point. That I will love to guarantee on the strength of them not having their kicker, which if it is a close game, Savak, that is something to circle. They do not have their starting kicker. So let's hope it's a laugher. Let's hope that it doesn't come down to that. Savak Melton, I really appreciate you. We appreciate you. Where could everybody find you, and what are you doing the rest of this season?
Let's see. I'm working on a couple things. Was in the process getting my YouTube channel going again. Unfortunately, got derailed because the second video that I worked on, the audio went completely awry and I could not use it. I do intend to keep going, but you can find me on there, on Twitter, Instagram, all those places, at Seriously Savak. Yep, the name is the same across the board.
Across the board, we always appreciate you, sir. And for Matthew Morin, excellent writer, you can check him out on PhinManiacs.com, who is, one of our newest writers. He's going to be on a podcast weekly with Brandon Lagori and Chip Turner, who is our editor-in-chief over at PhinManiacs. So, guys, any last words, Matt?
Bold prediction. Gaskin will have a touchdown. Is Ahmed healthy? Is he playing?
Yeah, he should be playing.
Book him for 1-2.
I like it, Chip.
I like it.
Like I said earlier, I think the surprise guy is going to be Kirk Merritt, and I hope I'm right with my 40-yard reception prediction. They have to try. They have to try something. I'm begging you.
Please, me too.
Try something exciting.
Chip never begs.
No reason so much. You shouldn't be struggling to complete 7-yard outs. Just let it fly. Like Marino said to Tua, pick a guy, let it fly.
Pick a guy, let it fly, and hopefully they're flying home with another victory from the 2021 season. Mm-hmm. So for Matt, for Savak, for Chip, I'm Jason. Fins up, everybody.
Fins up.